Hey, it's Ethan here at etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Hollywood Rack's Destination 4-bike rack. It sticks in the hitch of our 2023 Kia Telluride. It's a 4-bike platform-style bike rack capable of supporting 4 bikes up to 35 pounds each. It's going to hold on to our bikes primarily with these rotating padded clamps on our center mast, as well as 2 additional straps down at the bottom. We take a closer look at what those cradles look like. They do slide up and down the mast, and they rotate. They're also padded on the strap and on the inside to protect the frame a little bit, but we still don't recommend using this rack with carbon frame bikes. It still has the potential to damage them while you're driving. It should work for a decent amount of alternative frame bikes because it does have the ability to slide up, down, and adjust. One unfortunate thing about this rack is that it does not have the ability to tilt away with the bikes loaded up, so if we want to get into the hatch, we're going to have to get the bike removed first. You can do that by first starting at the straps down at the bottom. Just press that gray release and they'll slide out. They also do have a nice rubberized molding that goes across the straps to protect your tire. And now we can come around the side here. I like to try to hold on to the frame of my bike if I can, just sort of wrap my arm around it, because once we get this released, it will start to move around. We did have to go through the cup holder in our case, which is a little unfortunate. It just makes things a little bit trickier to get out. But once we have that out of the way, we can get our bike up and off. Now is a good time to look at the design of the rack. You can see that it does bow down on either side to accommodate different wheelbases, in our case up to 48 inches. The cradles support a tire width of 3 inches. If we want to, we can tilt the center mast down. Just undo this hand threadable knob until we release this catch plate on the other side, and then we can fold this down and away. I like to use this strap on the center mast to keep it secure. These cradles get in the way most of the time, so you kind of just have to adjust and play with them to get a configuration that works for you. And then I just put that strap back in to make sure that everything is secure while I'm driving. One thing to note about this rack, it's obviously pretty large and it does stick out quite a bit. I'll get that measurement now so we can figure out exactly how far that's going to be. So from the bumper to the furthest point back, it's going to be sticking out about 39 3/4 inches. So it definitely does add a bit of length to an already pretty long vehicle. As far as ground clearance goes, because it does have that shape where it angles down on both sides, I'll measure it from this point here in the back. That's going to come up with 19 inches. There's a solid rise in the shank, and the Telluride sits pretty high up. So I'm not going to be worried about ground clearance or making contact with the ground if I'm going up hills or over curbs. We can fold the rack up if we want. First, we're going to have to start by removing this pin, and then we'll undo this hand threadable knob on the other side until it unthreads, and we can fold the rack up. Find where those holes line up again on the shank, fit that back through, thread it in, and replace the clip. From here we can get a new measurement to see how much space we've saved. Now, from the bumper to the furthest point back is going to be about 13 inches. So we cut our distance by well over half. Granted, in this position, it is bulky and it does cover up quite a bit on the back of our vehicle. Our license plate is going to still be mostly visible through some of those windows. Our backup camera is right here in the middle, so you're definitely going to see this in your backup camera, and it's probably going to let you know that it's here. It's still narrow enough that it doesn't really affect our taillights, and still short enough that it doesn't really affect our view out of the rear window either. As far as the shank goes, this rack uses a 2-inch shank that fits into our 2-inch receiver. It's held in place by a 3/4 inch anti-rattle bolt and a lock on the end. So it'll secure the rack to your hitch receiver, and it'll lock in place to keep it secure. So overall, if you're looking for a way to get 4 bikes where you need them to go, this is usually what we recommend as far as entry-level bike rack goes. It holds the bike securely, and it's pretty easy to work with relatively. It does take up a decent amount of space though, so if you're interested in a little bit of saving that space, you might want to check out something like the Kurt Premium. It's a hanging style bike rack, so not the easiest to work with, but it's a little bit smaller. It tapers towards the end to accommodate kids' bikes. But if you want something with a really nice build quality and you're not so much worried about storing it off the side, the Hollywood Rack's Destination 4-bike rack is It's definitely a really good option. This was just a look at how it fits on our 2023 Kia Telluride.
Now we're going to go ahead and take it on our test course. First we'll start with the slaloms. This is going to show the side-to-side action. It's kind of going to mimic the movements that you'll see whenever you're driving down the road normally. Now we'll have the alternating speed bumps. This is going to be more so like the uneven roads and some of that uneven terrain you might be traveling on, and see how it holds up.